I mean, under 30 big blinds effective, we're certainly willing to play for stacks with 10s, even 33 big blinds. Probably just raise and call it off if he shoves. Jam if he 3-bets a smaller amount. And we'll 3-bet and call it off for any of these guys. If he opens and like these guys call, we'll probably just jam when he's only 23 big blinds effective here. He folds. Okay. We'll go back to the 6-7 hand after. To be continued with the 6-7. 11 away from the money. Double up here would be pretty clutch. Am I still in time for the crazy over? It can happen. No waste this time. The double. Let's freaking go, guys. What hands fit where and what and why. So, for example, if you're opening 3 big blinds, your range should be a little bit tighter. You should be playing a little bit stronger hands. This is kind of cool just because, like, when there's a short stack here, we look a lot stronger. Just because I think this guy would assume that we're always getting called. But this guy's just been folded a bunch recently. I tend to, when I'm very deep, I tend to open a little tighter and go for 3x opens. As we get down to like 50 big blind range, I tend to go for 2.5x opens and open a little bit wider. And then as we get down to much shorter stacks, like 30 and under, I'm starting to open for 2.2. And then even sometimes just a min open. In the big 22, this guy's just been limping like every single hand. And not really our board texture. Let's see if we can't get the showdown. Krista Borg, quit showing up at my tables, please. Sure enough, he's on my big 33 table, guys, and he's got a big old stack, and he's got a sweet position on me. I actually think there's enough bluffs here. We're just gonna call. And he rivered the. I didn't think there was enough, like all that many value bets. I don't know if like a 5x is gonna value bet here. And I think we might have seen a bet from hearts or an 8 earlier. So I think we're fine to call there. But yeah, guys. Krista Borg showing up again. That's a flop straight. Holy crap. I want to bet this. 3 ways. I don't know if it gets bet often enough. So betting a signs, it could be some block bets, could be some bluffs, could be the nuts. Everyone folds. So we're 14th at 18 here, but we've got a little over 20 big blinds. We will be going for a min open here with the Queen Jack, and someone jams, or unless they 3-bet really small, we're going to be folding. Unless it's Krista Borg, we're getting it all in. Just kidding. Just kidding. Or am I? Just kidding. With a hand that doesn't really have a ton of showdown value, I'm cool to just put out a third, like a small C bet, and just hope to take it down often enough. If we get check raised here or something, we're just totally cool with folding. I'm not going to set up to barrel here. We don't really have twos in our range. And I don't know, we don't have a ton of hands that we're just excited about trying to get stacks in, even though we're pretty short, so just giving up here on the turn when he calls. Giving ourselves a chance to, we can still hit a queen or a jack on the river and be pretty excited about that. You don't actually know if you're older? I'm 32, man. I'm 32. So we could have got this hand full with some barrels, but it's just a board where we don't really get to rep a whole bunch, and we just kind of have to hope that he's at kind of the bottom of his range. I think we can just check back and like preserve our stack a little bit and find better spots to go for big bluffs. I have 4 kids, but I'm only 30. Yeah, I got you about 2 years, man. You're like a baby to me. All right, a much better hand than Queen Jack, if I do say so myself. We're just under 20 big blinds here. This is going to Shovesville. Yes! We can win flips. You saw it live on stream here today, guys. We can win flips. We don't lose them all. Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. I think we're going to try to attack this bounty here. We got him. We're pretty deep in position with this guy. I think we can apply a little more pressure, maybe open a little bit wider. Wouldn't mind if you were deeper, but having a deep polar leading range ruins your check range. We don't need to go quite 2x. I'd like 19. This is actually a pretty reasonable spot for an overbet. I think our range is going to be significantly stronger than his range by the time we get to the turn like that. And at these snap, I think actually probably a little bit bigger would have been better, because if we're trying to set up for stacks on the river, we just need a slightly bigger sizing. The one thing that my feeling on my check range is I'm not really worried about just check folding there. I mean, when it's a multi-way pot, we don't have to worry all that much about defending our checking range or defending our yeah, we basically just don't have to worry about it anywhere nearly as much in a multi-way pot. So from my perspective, I think just almost essentially check folding 100% of the time is probably going to be okay. When you have like in this case, the original raiser was here, then there's another guy left to act, and then it's us. Like, this guy's going to be able to do a lot of defense for us. Now, that's not the case for every single board texture, but I think on board textures like that, it's probably okay. we somehow lost a pot. I didn't think that was possible with the way I was running there this last 30 seconds. 3rd out of 16 though, guys. We're all in here. We're on the bubble, but we're getting very, very short stacked. And this guy is actually, although we've been on the bubble, like we've been at 23 out of 20 remaining for the past, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. I mean, people aren't dropping off. But this guy has been actually jamming and getting more and more aggressive with his short stack than probably he should be. So I think we're going to be up against a much wider range here than what we actually should see. And we just have a premium hand. There's also, like, this is the shortest stack in the tournament. These two guys right here. So there's also no, like, super short stacks that are just ready to bust. If there were, I would probably actually just fold the queens here. If there was, like, a couple two, like 1 or 2 or 3 big blind stacks, I think we can just get away with folding the queens here. But when everyone's actually reasonably deep, people aren't getting busted, I think we got to take a premium hand and go with it on the Buble. No waste on the river. Thank you for that update, CPask. I appreciate that, man. So that's 8. Going a little bigger just because we're deep and I don't want to give him an incredible price to be playing against me in position. And also there's a caller here, so the pot's a little bigger as well. Oh my, I actually played a bunch of GG tournaments today. We're going for a limp jam here, or if he jams, we'll just call it 20 big blinds with ace 10. Blind versus blind. Yeah, I played, how many did I play? If you hit the exclamation today, you can see all of them, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We played in 6 of them today. I'm not registered any more tournaments, which is why you don't see me in any right now. We made the money in the 82, guys. We could either jam here and just hope that he makes a hero call with a jack, or we could go for a check call. It's just a matter of like how many missed flush draws he has and missed draws that want to turn him into a bluff versus like hands that can call. I'm not quite sure either way. I'm gonna jam. It's pretty darn close. We got knocked out of the bounty by 32. We shoved for 13 big blinds. This guy called with jack 8 offsuit. So we're out of that one. So it looks like he did have a jack X hand, which I think that's like kind of a bulk of his range. So we're 10th out of 20 with 22 big blinds in the big 82. We're 11th out of 12 with blinds just went up, so we've got 21 big blinds in the big 33. Crystal Borg somehow has got a huge stack. He's got double my stack all of a sudden. Didn't see that happen. Going for min open just because of this guy's stack. And if he jams with 19 suited, we're calling for the bounty. We got aces, guys. Please hold. I have no idea what you're talking about there, Jarek. Tomorrow's home game is 5 a.m. Oh, that's kind of a brutal time. But that's not the sub only. The sub only one is still going to be on Tuesdays. So you could probably make that one, right? As long as you don't sleep in. All right, we will. Actually, I'm just going to keep betting small. This guy doesn't strike me as like the guy that's just going to have a ton of pure floats here. So we're going to just try to get as much as we can from his Jack X and stuff like that. And then the river will probably bet small again. Because I think we can get like... we missed some value for some of his ace X, but I think a lot of his... I don't know. I think his range is pretty weak in general when we block all the aces. I think going for a block bet is going to be better for us here. Toughen up, Manus. If I had had jacks there instead of aces, I would have been going for a jam on the river. I think that's going to be a little bit better for us. Blaze and Peace, thank you for that follow. I really appreciate that. So if we check raise here, we're repping like ace 5, ace 6, even 5s and 6s. Probably don't 3-bet at our stack depth. I think his range is probably just wide enough in general. Like there's just a bunch of like king highs, queen highs, random stuff that just can't do anything here. If he jams, I'll have to do the math and see if we have to call here with our 8-9. So if I'm trying to play for stacks, I think even this sets it up. And he jams. We tried. Basically, there I was just trying to go for a similar sizing that I would go for if I had my sets or those two pairs that I was talking about. Mixing in my 8-9 there. This guy's actually been super tight. We're just going to min raise and fold to jam, even though we're going to be getting an incredible price. Hey. Not from you. Certainly fold into a jam there. Nah, you could stay in the family, man. You could still be a part of the family. Go, go, pocket tens. Uh-oh. Oh, we're pretty short. This could be... I think we could still see, like, 9s and stuff like that in there some of the time, but he has jacks. I'm not sure that's the best call there. After I jam and then he gets rejammed, I think that's going to be a losing call in general. Anyways, we're out of that one. Obviously jamming here if it's folded to us with the queen 9. Highly doubt that's going to happen. I think we could still shove this here. I'm not quite sure. That's probably still shove. I think I made a mistake. This is where my game is definitely the worst, is when I'm short stack like this. I just haven't spent a ton of time studying it. I get myself into a lot of spots where I'm just not quite sure. I do know that our shoving range from the big blind can be very wide. We have to tighten it up somewhat from the small blind because there's still a player left to act, and this guy's still obviously in. So we do have the dynamic of the fact that we had, well, one of the guys doubled up. There was 2 guys. We were 10th out of 12 there, right? So we do have some dynamics of shorter guys that could get knocked out before us and maybe potentially allow us to sneak into the final table. But being 10th, maybe we're supposed to jam there. I'm sure in like a non-ICM situation, Queen 9 is got to be just it's got to be a plus EV jam, especially from a guy that's going to have a very wide opening range. But yeah, what I'm saying is, like, without a doubt, I think the Queen 9 suited. Chip EV wise, I think it's got to be a profitable reshove versus the button here. But with some of the tournament dynamics, I'm not 100% certain. That's what I'm trying to get out. Having a tough time saying that. Man, this guy is just going crazy over here. Oh. He wakes up with a better hand. We get super lucky. Sorry, buddy. Pretty much cooler. I'm okay with that. Can't bust dad. Someone's gonna get my chips in a cooler. If someone's gonna get my chips in a cooler, I'm certainly happy to donate to Krista Borg there. Oh, Bradical, do you have a shove call chart you reference? I don't have a reshove versus opens on me right now. I was building one. But you can't actually build one for like every single situation for sure. Just gonna check back this flop. We just need 0 protection, and with his stack size, we can, if we want to get stacks in, we can certainly do it later or across the turn on the river. Yeah, there's just so much of his money, and I think we're getting value. I think we're getting value here with a jam. There's going to be like other pairs, a bunch of other random stuff. I don't think he ever folds any hand that has any sort of showdown value. You know, contact support immediately and see if they can come up with a resolution. And obviously, with CPAS staying, you know, restart ACR and see if that helps you as well. What CPAS is saying, I think, is the most sound advice for sure. 11th out of 13 here. Let's check the chip stacks. This is the shortest guy, and then there's a couple that are pretty much our same stack size. I'm actually going to fold the ace-6 though, given the fact that the chip leader here is in the big blind. None of that works. Proceed to That's also a solution. We're hand for hand, guys. In the big 33. Suck out, let's go. I felt bad, actually. Even though I said almost a chat, I actually felt bad. I was bummed that he woke up with a bigger hand. I was kind of just hoping that Christaborg folded in that one. That would have been the ideal situation, but I was also bummed to suck out on. Hang on, guys. We got hands going on all over the place. We are all in here. Here we're folding. Here we're seeing what's happening. We can't fold if he shoves at this stack size. Let's just bet. We only have jack high here. Let's just bet. Pretty darn good board for us. And, I mean, he can have some nines. He can have a lot of kings that I think we can get to fold. I think it's pretty close between just jamming here and checking back and seeing if for equity. I'm going to go for the jam. Literally the worst turn. I probably give up on most. I kind of expected most of his ace-x on this board to just check raise. So that's why I expected him to really be king-heavy. Maybe his range still is king-heavy and he just woke up with kind of like one of the few ace-x that he's going to have there or something. We don't really know. So I was going to talk about charts. Sorry. Maxvalue.com. I recommend checking out that website. I think you can get some free charts that have like any situation. When I got my free charts here, they only had like shoving ranges. They didn't have all the calling and the reshoving and stuff like that. So I think they've updated the charts since then. So I recommend checking those guys out. You can get some free information. 6th place, I probably would just not risk it here, but 9th, I think we can go for it. No! Split it! No! I hate you so much. That's the worst way. That's the worst way to do that. Somehow I made the final table though, guys. We did that. Works for me. King 5 here. I'm pretty positive any king X in this spot. Let's double check. Yeah. Yeah, we can still win. We can't win. We're out in 9th place, guys. We're just all in. Being in last place, I think we just need to push for any plus chip EV shove that we can. Yeah, if you restart your client, you should just be able to open it up, and there should be an option for like finding my tournaments. Some sites will just fire up all of your tournaments right away. The stack size is the only options to jam here. Let's hit him with some bets. Almost 20 big blinds here. We went for the min open with our ace-8. And flop pretty much like the super nuts. Just going to go for a 1/3 pot c-bet, which we would do with our whole range here. Just pray he doesn't have like ace-6 or jack-6. But it has something like king-jack, queen-jack, jack-10, jack-9, any kind of jack-x that we can try to extract some value from. Worse flush draws that we can extract some value from. That would be beautiful. All right, over here, we're all in. I just realized that a long time ago someone asked me how many tournaments I usually play. And I remember reading the question and then something came up and I totally forgot to answer it. So if you're still here, whoever asked that, I normally, if I'm streaming, I'm usually playing about 6 tournaments. Sometimes I'll play up to 8. I don't play tournaments off stream, but if I did, I would probably play somewhere around 10. Would be probably my sweet spot. Just min raise and call it off. If anyone, either of these guys want to jam. And back to 10th out of 10 in the big 82, just by blinds going through me. He's got basically a pot size bet left. We're just going to put the money in here. We'll min raise. We'll have to call if either of these guys jam, but I think min raise is better, a little bit better than jamming. Allows us to have a little more hands in our range that can actually play and potentially get folds, because we're going for min raise and then fold. We'll just hope he doesn't have a heart, and I think we take this down very, very often with this bet size. If he doesn't have a heart. We won yet another flip, guys. We won yet another freaking flip. Let's go. Final table bubble, 25 big blinds deep. I think we can just jam the fives. You want to fold. He didn't get the fold memo. You want to fold now. With just the jack high, I think we're actually gonna. I think we're going to size up pretty significantly here. We can actually have a bunch of fives in our range, obviously, if we have hands like jack-6 here. I think there's a bunch of hands we can get to fold. I mean, anybody who watches this stream consistently knows that I'm barreling that turn. You knew deep down inside that was going to happen. We'll min open. Again, the guy with the big stack. Yeah, we'll still min open and fold to any jams here. Having an ace blocker is pretty significant. Done. Done with his hand. No back doors other than that. I guess we have the back door straight. Ooh, check. Check, 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 check. All right. We'll just have to make sure that like we're not like definitely make sure here that our check back range isn't always folding to a bet, otherwise we just become really exploitable. There's a guy on the other table with 10 big blinds now. I think that has some significance. All right, because he's betting so small, we're actually going to go for a check raise here. There's like draws out there, draws and stuff that you know, we can maybe rep. He folds. Had he bet a little bit larger sizing, I might have just check called, giving him a chance to you know, value bet like other king X hands or do other stuff. Or we might have just checked jam versus a larger bet. Both options I think would have been valid. Well, that's kind of a bummer. I think he's probably just pretty strong in general when he calls there. We're we are going to be going all in here. It's interesting. Maybe he's not opening as tight as I thought. Maybe he's actually trying to go for stuff, because that's the second time he's raised folded off a pretty short stack. Just jamming here. And we have our final table, ladies and gentlemen. Oops, moved it over here. Okay. Nice. I'm just gonna fold the king 8. Oh, now especially fold since this guy's opened. We got our all in hand in the big 22. All right, let's check out this one as well, because we're not folding to this. The only way I would fold is if, like, he jams. Nice. Hey, we got 3 outs. We got an extra out there, a couple outs there. Nothing. That's a bummer. 7's here. We're going to be... We'll just raise call. So 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4. Chip it up slightly. Reshove stack here, and then 2 guys that have me covered that can apply a lot of pressure. I'm just going to be a little bit tight here. We'll have to call shoves from either of these guys, unless like he 3-bets. Or he 3-bets. 2 more hearts. Jeez. Well, I thought we were going to be doing good there. I guess he can't so much anymore with this guy here, but... Chippy V-wise, this is a call at these stack sizes. But again, with this guy here, we just end up folding it. It's a $112 ladder for the next place, so it's pretty significant. Doesn't mean I'm going to be like min-raise folding like a bunch of hands, but we're going to be min-raise folding a little bit tighter. We got the ace, the backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw, and it's like not much of an overbet. We're just gonna put the money in here. I think there's still just a wide group of hands in his range that are just folding, which we're pretty happy to just get to fold right now. Down here, we're all in. What a flop for him. Just what a beautiful flop for him. Uh, 10 big blinds. We're just going to be on with the jacks. Under 10 big blinds, actually. Twice! Twice! They just flop trips on me just casually. Well, that'll be the end of that tournament. And also real quick down here in the big 22, we're on with our ace 10. Hey, I guess I can't complain about running bad there. That was pretty freaking lucky. 3-betting the king 6 over here. Fold into a jam. Flop a 2 pair. College having coffee and cake moment because one of us just reached 10 years in the... But you didn't want to... Go get some food, man. Coffee and cake sounds wonderful, but thank you so much for the... thank you so much for sticking around, supporting the stream, man. I appreciate it. Hopefully we can give you something exciting. We just block everything. This board's super dry, and this guy's going to be pretty aggressive, so we're going to check back and give him a chance to fire. All right, now we got to go for a block bet here. Repping like 8x hands, 9s, 10s, things like that, doing jam pre-flop. Maybe some hands like ace king or ace jack that check back that are, trying to block bet to get a showdown. Such a cooler. Such a cooler, my favorite. Thank you. That's pretty lucky right there. I'm less excited about taking a check call line here. I think we're just going to bet for protection so that he doesn't get to bluff us as easily. And on a club turn, we're obviously going to probably ramp up the pressure here. And he raises. Hey, Muggy. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that. The problem is, like, if this guy's calling, like, 5-3 here, he has, like, a bunch of king 6 suiteds, king 8 suiteds, maybe even offsuits, 6-8s. And he has, like, all the king queens and stuff here that want to raise for this size. I'm just going to fold. Anything that I'm willing to play for stacks with as well. Which against this guy is going to be, like, any of my king 10 suited plus that is opening here, because that's probably the bottom of my range. I guess I can have, like, king 9 suited and maybe king 8 suiteds, but the king 9, yeah, I can have that. Maybe we might take a check call down line with that kind of hand, though. Pocket 6s, pocket 8s. And then we'll obviously mix in some check call downs with like kings and ace king. Have to call here for sure. Well, we ran really good to double up versus him, but couldn't win that one. Up here, we got the Jays. We're just going to be going all in. Winning flips. That cooler. Worked in our favor, that's for sure. Just because of this guy. That ladder's important. That's pair. This ran out's pretty brutal. I think if he block bets, we're not going to be able to jam. I mean, we don't really rep much. He's repping, like, it would be like ace 10 or ace x hands that limped, that we're going for limp jams. I don't think a jack is betting this size. I don't know if a king checks. I think there's also some bluffs here for sure. We're going to end up calling. Jolie on a final table. I don't know much about that guy. I've seen him on a lot of my tables, but I don't really know much about him. Just checking back here. Ace is reasonable for us. When we don't have any of the diamonds, it's kind of nice because, like, I think a lot of flush draws can call here. We could probably consider going bet with our queen jack. I think it's a pretty reasonable hand for our range as well. I'm gonna bet kind of big. All right, well, we're gonna give up on this one. The intention was to jam any Blake River, which I would have been doing with, like, ace, basically any of my ace x that are opening here. But when we get this river, and yeah, I don't really block anything. I'm just gonna check back. And you can see we would have, could have even won. We just check it back. Easy all in here. That's kind of a disappointment. Fifth place, guys. $550. Could certainly have been worse. Could certainly have been better. Sucking away from the money here. Easy 1/3 pot c-bet on this board. Would have been barreling any ace, any 10, any club. I don't know, even nines or things like that would be reasonable. A 9 for sure. Not gonna barrel a 4. Thanks, guys. Yeah, we were close. We were close to some good money. I just don't really get to rep anything here. I could like go like a small bet and rep some of my 10, like a 10x that got rivered, or hands like pocket queens or jacks. I just don't really expect this guy to fold, even like a 6 versus small bet. That was kind of the problem. So I'm just going to give up and check back here. The time making here is a pretty good sign. It means he's probably just trying to get into the money and doesn't have the strongest hand, I'm guessing. Maybe he had an actual decision. Just block betting for value here. With the king jack, with the bubble dynamic, I'm not really trying to barrel for 3 streets for value with king jack, so that's why we checked. Just trying to rep a little bit weaker, wider range. Maybe get some bluffs out of the weakest parts of his range. Keep the pot a little smaller at the same time, and then we can try to go for, if he checks back, we can try to go for bets on the turn of the river. You know, if you want to try to dabble a little bit, just put on, just make sure you're playing with an amount that you're comfortable with. And I definitely recommend starting very small and working your way up. But it's all about your comfort level and what you're going to enjoy for sure. Greenfield hype. That sucks, man. Did you at least win? Or are you at least going to win? hopefully. Nice thing about checking here is we get to see what he does, and then we get to see what he does in response. So for example, if he bets pretty large and he calls, I could probably actually just fold the jacks. If he bets small and he calls, then we could pretty comfortably call, just because ranges are going to be wider. And then sometimes it'll just go check check, and we get to maintain the pot at a relatively small size, rather relative to us betting, and see a turn. And we don't really need a ton of protection here, so. I'm just going to check again. We'll value bet the river. It'd be kind of interesting if he jams, because he's repping like pocket threes or like a hand like king 10, something that's slow played, or I guess maybe a flush, but I don't think a hand like king queen is going to be jamming the river here. That is about the clearest of clear value bets. I mean, are you really going to put me on like pocket kings that's slow played, or king 10 that's slow played, and that's it? Alright, well. Thanks. I was probably calling some bets on the river there. He definitely wasn't disconnected on the river. That's top pair, 20 big blinds deep. Pretty dry board. I don't really think we need to check raise here. Yeah, I don't really know how many bluffs I have. Up to 30 big blinds. Let's go. Heads up and probably chopping. Yeah, it might be a good idea. You're probably exhausted, man. Get some sleep. Good game, though, dude. Good game getting heads up, man. All right, we took it down. 40 big blinds. Let's go. Again, this is the guy that's just super tight. I'm just gonna fold. Pocket J's, let's go. We've only got like one reshove stack. If all these guys were 20 big blinds or under, I would consider calling here to allow one of them to reshove. When we don't have that, I'm just gonna 3-bet. Knit alert. Checking back the nut flush. Yeah, it's a little tight. A little tight. All right. We don't need to make it huge, so we have 3.5 here versus the limp. I don't know. I can't really comment on the hand that Krista Borg played because I haven't seen this guy playing heads up at all. Like, I mean, maybe he's just got an incredibly wide range there for donking and jamming and like a bunch of flush draws and a bunch of pocket pairs. Maybe he's just going crazy. So, not my place to comment on what was happening there. Gonna trust in the reads that Krista Borg has. That is so annoying. That is so incredibly annoying. Ace 10. Probably going to end up being a shove here. This is scary when he's calling in this spot. It's going to be a hand stronger than mine pretty often. Maybe it could be some king queens or stuff like that. All right, we get lucky. You need luck to win the tournaments, and we got the luck right there at the right time. A little bit of redemption after the, it wasn't this guy, but after the jacks versus ace 8 hand. We're going to go for the open here just because even though it's a reshove stack, he's been pretty tight. And small blinds just in general have to be tighter, even though, I mean, he hasn't been the most aggressive. I think at his stack size, he's also going to be a little tighter. And the combination of the fact that he's in the small blind, so we're just trying to make a move. This is not normally in my opening range against guys who are going to play pretty aggressive. Dim Japanese. They're not really that good. If you don't know Japanese, it sounds like I'm awesome at it. But if you're fluent in Japanese, you're probably like, this guy. This guy. Please be ace queen. Please be ace queen. Please. Please be ace queen. Uh-oh. Japanese sounds like I'm about to chop something. About to chop both of these guys if I don't win this. Hey, we got a chance. We got very little chances. We've got no chances. And that's going to end my journey, guys.